guys, so for these molds, I'm first going to spray my molds with this silicone mold release spray. I use it every time I do a mold. If you don't, you could ruin the mold and your epoxy piece. So of course, using the Artisan Fast Set, you can use this in molds. It is just a little different than the original Artisan because there is like a brittle stage. So even though it's hard and you can take it out of the mold, I wouldn't suggest doing that until probably like 2 days later. So just mixing up my Fast Set. This is a 2-to-1 ratio. So I do the hardener first, and the hardener is just one part, and then I do the resin, the 2 parts. And I mixed up 15 ounces for these 4 coasters. So 5 of the hardener and 10 ounces of the resin. So then just mixing that for a couple minutes until it is all completely mixed and almost clear. Then I added some white colorant, or white pigment paste from DIY Epoxy. Then I took and just separated just a little bit for some gray. I like to just use a white base for my gray just so it's a light gray and doesn't get too dark. So then adding some of the gunmetal mica powder. And at first I just wanted a really, really light gray, and then I added more a little bit later to make it a little darker. And then how I did this is I added a little bit and kind of mixed it a tiny bit, and my camera turned off. So here's kind of my marbled mixture. You can see that there's like 2 different colors of gray kind of just marbled in there. I wish I had stirred it a little bit less just so it was a little more noticeable, like a little bit more contrast in there, but I think it turned out pretty anyways. So just pouring that in my molds. To add a little bit more gray, so I just took that and kind of just swirled it in the top a little bit. In this part, really doesn't matter what you're doing because we're just going to go in with the heat gun and kind of move it all around anyways. So then, like I said, just grab the heat gun and just kind of move it around. This also really helps with bubbles. And also just kind of helps make the marble look more realistic and just kind of move and blend around those colors. Then just adding a little more. Then adding some alcohol with some pearl opal mica powder in it. Then of course torching it and helping to pop any more bubbles that there are. So then just taking it out of the mold, I wanted to make the edges gold. And these molds are really cool. It has like that kind of, I don't know what you call that. Like it has like these little angled edges would just like look really cool. Is it beveled edges? So I just wanted to paint those gold, and I have seen people do embossing powder on the sides of their epoxy stuff. So I wanted to try that. The one that they suggest using was the like main one that Michaels has. I don't know the brand, but they never have the gold. Every time I go look, they never have like the original gold color. So I picked up this little kit. It was from Michaels too. So we're gonna test it out and see how that works. I've never done anything with embossing, so it was interesting. So it just came with this like stamp pad. So what I did is just took it and kind of stamped all the way around on every angle and side. And my lighting is a little dark here. I'm redoing and moving everything around in my room. So yeah, that's why. I know it's a little dark. So just taking the powder, and this is the more like kind of darker gold, and I just kind of rub it on there where I want it. And this did get a little messy, but it's pretty easy to clean off with alcohol on the spots where you don't want it. But I just thought the gold edge with the beveled edge like this would just look really pretty and make the edge just really pop. So then just taking a little embossing gun and kind of hitting the edges with it. And I'm not really sure how long you're supposed to do this. Like, is it a couple seconds? Is it like 30 seconds? I'm not really sure. Let me know in the comments. It didn't give me any directions really on there. It just said to put it on and heat it up. So I don't know if I did it long enough, but it feels a little waxy. And I have to say I'm not crazy about using this epoxy method. I think it looks really beautiful, but I think it's not going to be as durable as like a paint pen. So I wanted to try this lighter gold. I think the gold at Michaels that I really want to get is in between these two golds. So this wasn't the best, my favorite gold color, but I thought I would just test it out. So doing the same, just dusting it on and then heating it up. And it was getting kind of hot, so I just decided to set it down instead and not burn my hand. So then that's what it's looking like. You can see it kind of looks like it's like dipped in gold. It's a little thicker looking than the paint pen, which I kind of love, but I feel like you can see if there's any imperfections in the epoxy. So I don't love that part. But I think this could be really cool. I just don't know if it's supposed to still feel a little waxy. And then the next day I was trying another type of embossing stuff, and I just sanded the edges down a little bit first, and I'm using the gold mica powder from DIY Epoxy. So this is the Recollections, I don't even know what this is called. Embossing ink. So just putting this on with a brush and then dusting the powder on. And the Recollections brand is the brand of the gold that I want. I couldn't remember, but it's the Recollections brand. So just doing the same, dusting it all on. And I think these golds are all pretty, but they're just not like my perfect gold. Who would have known that there's so many different shades of gold? Like, gold is not just one color. But the beveled edge on these is just so pretty. I love these molds. I will link them down below. They're just from Amazon.